Hey everyone, how are you? So, the topic for today is from darkness to the light. Now, you would be wondering what is darkness and what is light? These are two polarities we often come across, especially when you get into the spiritual and the healing world. Often, people find themselves gripped with a sense of darkness which is overwhelming in an attempt to look for the light. I'm going to explain to you this concept in depth because I face this day in and day out when I help my students and people who are seeking consultations. Let me tell you, um, this is my right and this is my left. I'm not sure of the mirror image that you're getting, but if this is right and this is left, it's right and left because I'm in the middle, right? If I look at these two spots from infinity, it's not going to be right and left. Right and left are two polarities. North and south are two polarities. Dark and light are also polarities. A lot depends upon what are you facing? Where is your position? And as your position shifts, the concept of dark and light will shift. It is very, very evident when you are at the lowest end of this pendulum. Have you seen a pendulum like this? All right. So the pendulum often swings from one end to the other, right? And that swing is minimum as you go closer and closer and closer to the fulcrum. Same way, when you're further away from the fulcrum, you do sense an acute sense of dark and light both. And as you go closer and closer and closer to the fulcrum, the difference and the distinction between the light and the dark seems to be vanishing. And eventually, when you are at the fulcrum, there is nothing like dark and nothing like light. Till then, yes. I'm talking to people who are slightly away from the fulcrum and they do experience the sense of light and the dark. So when I say dark, I actually mean ignorance. And when I say light, I actually mean the awareness. Most of the time, we spend a good amount of energy, resources, time, lifetime sometimes, trying to fight the darkness. And when I say darkness, it could be different for different people. It could be simple about unawareness, or it could be lots of expressions of unawareness. And when I say expression of unawareness, it could be jealousy, anger, hatred, violence, abuse, atrocities, and it could be anything. Because all those gory stuff that you hear of could be purely because of the sheer ignorance um, that you face. If you're aware of a true nature, if you're aware of who you are, if you're aware of the real truth that you can see from the fulcrum point of view, you will not feel like being violent, abusive, angry, frustrated, punitive. No. However, the fact is, we're still in our process. We're still in that swing from one end to the other. We're still part of that pendulum and trying to connect to the fulcrum. So the polarities are very, very common. And we all go through these polarities before we reach the fulcrum point of view to be an observer where we can see clearly what's happening, where we can gain that kind of neutrality towards both the ends, both the fulcrums or both the polarities in that sense, right? So when you reach the fulcrum, of course, there's a sense of neutrality, but till then, what? So let me tell you how I understand the light and the dark. Right now, I'm facing a light source. You can obviously see, my face illuminated because obviously there's a light bulb in front of me. And if you realize that I am casting a shadow, can you see? See, I mean, the light bulb is right there, but I'm somewhere casting a shadow. If you can feel a little bit, like, yeah. So that shadow is because the light I'm facing and the shadow that I'm casting is because of the light I'm facing. All right. So if wherever there is a light, there's going to be a shadow. And the more I face the light, the more I'm likely to cast a shadow, isn't it? What is that light? The light is that awareness. So when you face an awareness, when you read good books, when you listen to somebody preaching so beautifully, when somebody tells you what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what shouldn't be done, what is appropriate, suddenly you start seeing so many flaws within you, so many issues, so many terrible things about you, because suddenly now you have a picture of your ideal self, which is not really you at this moment. And when that happens, you start feeling terrible. And obviously, you're casting a shadow. The shadow is relative. If there was no light, there wouldn't have been a shadow either. But that light, in form of a knowledge of your ideal self, the good self, the better self, the best self, now is making me realize that I am not that. There's something much darker hidden behind me. Right. And if that is hidden behind me, I better first work around and clear that so that I can focus on the light better. It sounds so illogical right now, right? Logical part is forget about the light, but you want the light also. And the moment there is a light, there's a shadow also. Now you can ignore the shadow, you can forget about it, or you may face the shadow and you may work around. A lot of people spend years trying to deal with their shadow self without realizing the shadow is there because of the light. And even if there is darkness, there is the shadow, all you need is a spark of light over there, which we don't do it. We think that by facing the light, life is going to be amazing, hunky-dory. That's not the case. If that light is the external source, is a temporarily, you'll go through a feel good factor because of that light. After all, that's an external light. You are like that light bulb. The day you will discover the light within, the spark within, you will be illuminated from within. And when you're illuminated from within, you will stop casting the shadow. There won't be any light or dark distinctions. You are that light, and you're aware of that. And with that knowledge, with that awareness, you don't have to reject a part of you which seems to be like a darker self. You don't have to search for the light outside. We've spent better part of our life trying to look outside, trying to follow the good people, trying to follow the good teachings, good learnings. And yet, the journey continues. The light is within you, is in each one of us. It's all there. It's time you connect to the light within. Yes, you are like that bulb which can connect to the socket, but don't have to be dependent on others' light. If you remain connected to the greater source of light and feel that illumination within, you rise beyond the dark and the light. You are the light. And because you're the light, you see everyone illuminated around. There won't be any darkness because you're the illuminated one. How can there be darkness? Isn't it? That is true spirituality, according to me. When you are in touch with that, the spark of the light within, the spirit within, the extension of spirit within, your connectivity with the light source, with the power, with the strength, with the Shakti. And your own illumination guides so many people around. That's when you lose this distinction between the dark and the light. Everything is light for you. Eventually, when you look at the whole scenario with spiritual awareness, you wonder, why did you juggle so much between the light and the dark? What is light? What is dark? It's it's the way you face the world. From where? From what point of view? Today, if it is daytime over here, the other side of the globe, it's dark. Does that mean it's dark over there? No, it's temporarily dark over there because the sun is facing the side at this moment. But after a few hours, it would be dark here. There's nothing permanent, not even darkness, not even light. So, what's the big deal about all that? Everything is transient, it passes. The darkness has its own beauty, and the light also has its own beauty. Make the best out of it. Embrace and accept because it's all part of you. And not by rejecting, but by accepting, you're going to transcend both. Till the time you're in the game of rejection, you're still stuck there because for you to reject, you have to obviously focus on what you're rejecting. So if you focus, you're also energizing. And if you're energizing, you're facing that anyway. Might as well proactively face rather than escape. When you face, when you complete, when you finish your experience, you transcend anyway. What you resist tends to persist. So how do you do that? What if if you're facing darkness? I come across a lot of people telling me practical reality. My husband beats me up, or my in-laws are threatening that they will kill me if my father doesn't give me dowry. My husband and my in-laws are telling me I should abort my baby. I don't want to do that. Or I have some mafias chasing my wealth, or I'm being repeatedly blackmailed for my sexual advances in my teenage. Stuff like that. Now, these are the facts and realities of life, right? People are getting unnaturally affected. People are getting subjected to the violence. A lot of so-called negative stories. So much that you don't feel like even reading newspaper or listening to the news articles or news publications, right? Some of them are really disturbing. And you wonder what's happening to the humanity, why people behave the way they behave. What I understand is, yes, you can't ignore what's happening. But if it is happening in your universe, somewhere, there's something inside you that needs to be healed. If you really connect with people who indulge in terrorist activities, who are atrocious in their approach and behavior, and if you trace the history, if you ever get a chance, I've interacted with few of them. They've been violated, they've been abused, they've been terrorized. You can only give it to people away outside you what you have it inside you, right? If you've been loved, if you're full of love, you can share your love. If you're full of joy, you can share your joy. If you're full of sadness, what are you going to share? Sadness. Even if you hide masks, people will see that. If you've been terrorized, if you've been traumatized, if you've been abused, obviously there's a desire to abuse. If you do not do it outside, you will do it with yourself, for yourself, or to yourself, right? So when people are abusive, when people are terrorizing, when people are really difficult, know that that's what probably they've got in life. Had they been treated very well in their childhood, teenage, and by the society, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Most of the adults who've been treated very well in their childhood, in a gentle way, loving way, caring way, are very loving, caring, and gentle with everyone, even when they grow up. It's never too late. If you feel your parents haven't really given you what you really looked out for, it's okay. It was past. Start giving it to yourself. Nobody stops you from being gentle to yourself, from being loving towards yourself, from being caring towards yourself. You deserve that love, compassion, and gentleness. The mistake that we often do is we wait for the world around us to do something that we really care for so that we feel worthy of getting that love, recognition, appreciation, compassion. And the world waits for you to do it to yourself. If you love yourself, the world will love you. If you cherish yourself, the world will cherish you. If you appreciate yourself, the world around you will eventually appreciate you. Don't wait for people to treat you well. Start treating yourself well. And when you do that, others will watch you initially, and they will eventually start treating you well. And you see how you treat others. You treat because they treat themselves very well. If somebody is very well dressed all the time, and if you have to gift, surely you look out for the dress that would be appropriate for that person, isn't it? Same way, you treat others the way they treat themselves. Gone are the days when you invite or you treat others the way you would like to be treated. It doesn't work. Treat yourself the way you want others to treat you, right? And when you do that, life becomes easier. So if somebody is abusing you, if somebody is terrorizing you, at least stop doing it to yourself. Start being gentle and kind towards yourself. And slowly people will change. Have compassion towards people who are being abusive. What must be there within them to make them the way they are today? What are they masking? What are they hiding? Or what are they overflowing with? When you put yourself in their shoes, probably you will not really despise them, or you will not feel terrible about them. You will only have love and compassion for them. If you call that dark, probably you being that light would be a bigger polarity, isn't it? So if you're being that light, you're casting a shadow. Probably what they are is showing a shadow side of you. So think before you label anything dark. The darkness is the polarity of light. If you're facing a lot of darkness, probably your desire to have the light source somewhere near you is casting this shadow. If you ever have to have the light source, let it be within you. Be illuminated from within. And that solves a lot of stories, a lot of difficulties. Eventually, remember these are polarities. The darkness is the polarity, and the light is also the polarity. When you rise in your awareness, there is no darkness, there is no light. As I was giving you an example, if there's a day over here, on the other side of the globe, there is night, that is because of our positioning. If you're looking at the globe from infinity, where is the light and where is the dark? It's just the globe, right? Again, from where you see, if it is from infinity, it's just the globe, right? So evolve in your awareness and consciousness, rise beyond these polarities. Take one step at a time. And you don't have to be there. You have to just connect to the superconsciousness. And as you connect to the superconsciousness and look at the whole picture from the satellite point of view, superconsciousness point of view, everything will make sense. The darkness will make sense. The light will make sense. Love will make sense. And hatred will make sense. Joy will make sense. And the sadness also will make sense. However, having said that, if you're still getting affected by the light or the dark, I'm going to give you some very simple, easy, and remedial solution. Whatever disturbs you, just say, this is my soul's love. I have some youngsters, adults, children complaining that I feel some presence, some shadow around in the room, as if there is something in the house, not letting me enter this house, not letting me sell this house, or there's some black magic done on my family, and the whole family is suffering. We have so much of chaos in the house. Whatever you think is disturbing you, just say, you my soul's love. If somebody appears to be dark to you, instead of labeling that person dark, just say, this person is my soul's love. You can actually use the name. Say, Sumin. Sumin. Sumin is my soul's love. Or Alvida is my soul's love. I'm using some rare names so that nobody feels that, I'm trying to portray that they're dark. No. The moment you say, you my soul's love, they stop being dark. Because they're dark, you have labeled them as dark, you have seen them as dark, you have perceived them as a dark, and you've judged them as dark. And eventually, based on your perception and judgment, they become dark for you, because you only want to see, based on your perception, the darker side of that person. Because if there is darkness, there's also light, which you may not see, based on your positioning and judgment. The moment you say, so and so is my soul's love, and if you keep repeating for some time, they stop being dark for you. They're just love for you. Right? And that too, soul's love. It's a purer form of love for you. Again, if you see some presence in your house and which feels like dark, instead of shooing it off, running away from there, or doing any manipulative act, focus on that presence. Try and penetrate with your mind's eye and say, hey, you are my soul's love. Try and do that. Say it 7 times and see what happens to that presence. Most of the time, it just vanishes, or they become so sweet and so easy for you to even enjoy their company around you. Okay. Also, if you feel that somebody is doing some sort of black magic or voodoo or some manipulative, energetic work on you or your family, instead of pushing it away or retaliating, just say, so and so is my soul's love, or their action, their behavior is my soul's love. And slowly they will shift in your universe. The attitude will shift in your universe. And there will be a difference in their approach and your approach as well. Remember, people are neither good nor bad. Your perception can be good or bad. Your judgments based on their perception can be good or bad. The moment you change your perception, judgment, and beliefs, they change in your universe. Because based on perception, you judge, and based on judgment, you believe. And others have no choice but eventually to comply with your beliefs. And people don't bother us, but our reactions bother. So when you change your belief, your perceptions and judgment, your reactions will shift. And you'll be much more easier with them, irrespective of them changing or not changing, because they are not bothering. It's we, because of our perception, our projections, and our reaction. It's we who are bothered. So simply recognize that what's happening is your perception. Darkness also is your perception. Not because I'm saying, feel it from within. More than that, look at the spark within. Focus on the spark, because whatever you focus on, you energize that. You maximize that. If you keep focusing on darkness, hoping that when I fight this darkness, I will have light. No. If you're in a dark room, fighting with darkness is not going to help. All you need is look for the light source, a little light, and the room will be bright, isn't it? Same way. There's light within you. If you can, just withdraw from your search for light outside. Look within. Be present to the light within. Stop focusing on the darkness outside. Stop fighting with the darkness that you perceive inside you. Focus on light. Remain focused. And the more you focus on light, the more you remain aware of the light, the more you manifest. And that's how you become a light being. And each one of us, when we become light being, we are like those torch bearers placed strategically to spread light around. And when we spread light around, there's not going to be any darkness anywhere. And that's the message for the day. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to quickly look at people's comment, and if there is something I need to answer, I will definitely do that. Namaste, Satyendra ji. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Anshu, Munmun. Hello, Shubhangi. Hi, Supriya. Hi, Munmun. Hello, Komal. Great to see you, Masum, Gautam, Anshu. Hello, Praful. Thank you, Ajit Singh ji. Hari Om Harshabin. Hi, Navina. Thank you. All right. So there seems to be no questions as such. So Thank you for joining. If there are any questions, feel free to leave it at the end of the video. I usually look around for uh, the questions and I do try and answer as much as possible. Thank you so much, Devi Dayalji. Hi, Indrani. All right. Have a great time and see you. Bye bye.